Ian, thank you very much indeed. The time now is 8:10. Will there be deliverance at last for hundreds of innocent postmasters? The sudden awakening of a whole nation to the biggest miscarriage of justice in our modern history, prompted by an ITV drama, will now lead to a new law, quashing wrong convictions and opening up mass compensation. There is, as we've been reporting, an ongoing public inquiry into this scandal, which began in February 2022, the inquiry, that is. It was delayed in November when lawyers acting for the inquiry revealed that about 363,000 emails had been discovered by the Post Office's auditors on a legacy mailing system that had not previously been disclosed. Jason Beer is the leading counsel to the Post Office inquiry, and in November he raised concerns about the way the Post Office had engaged with the inquiry so far.
This is, of course, the latest in a series of disclosure failings by the Post Office. They may be forgotten to many. They're etched in the memory of those who sit on this side of the room. Hard copy documents found in new Post Office locations. The use or the misuse of search terms when conducting the disclosure exercise. An improper deduplication exercise. A failure to consider families of documents when giving disclosure, a failure to disclose blind copyees to emails, the failure to give disclosure of documents held on backup tapes, the failure to give disclosure of native emails.
That's Jason Beer, KC. Today, the inquiry will examine how the Post Office interrogated innocent postmasters and postmistresses. The Post Office told us, and I quote, "We fully share the aims of the current public inquiry set up to get to the truth of what happened in the past and accountability. It's for the inquiry to reach its own independent conclusions after consideration of all the evidence on the issues it is examining, so it's not appropriate to comment whilst their work is continuing." Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Sarah Burgess-Boyde. She's a former sub-post mistress from Newcastle upon Tyne who lost her life savings when she repaid an incorrect shortfall.
In 2009, I had a post office audit after I had told them that I had a shortfall on Horizon. I told them how it had happened. I messaged them, I faxed them with all the details. I had the routine audit. They didn't listen to anything I said during the audit. The audit took 3 days. I was suspended. Then I went through the disciplinary procedure, including a fraud investigation. I was charged with theft. I was eventually taken to trial in December of 2011, where I was acquitted when Post Office presented no evidence. I have lost everything. I've lost my business, all my savings. I haven't got a penny to my name. Sorry.
Not at all. Take your time.
I'm not future-proofed. I'm nearly 60. I have no pension provision. I've lost my reputation. I lost everything.
Well, we're so extremely grateful to you for talking about it and recounting what you went through. You mentioned the interrogation that you went through, the questions that you were asked when you submitted evidence to people asking you very difficult questions. Just how personal, how aggressive was that interrogation?
It was not a case of you're innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty and you had no opportunity to prove your innocence. They didn't want to listen. When the fraud investigators came to search our house, my partner said, "It is clear from what you have said that you just don't understand what has happened. You need to get help to investigate this." And they just looked at him like he was stupid and just walked away. None of the people involved were interested in coming to the root of the problem. I had proof that I had taken no money.
What do you make of the ongoing public inquiry into this scandal, Sarah?
Seems to be, I can't, it's very difficult to describe. There's still no accountability for anybody. I don't think the questions are, I don't think it's deep enough. I don't even know if they're questioning the right people. I mean, I know it's got a long time to go yet, and there are lots more people to be asked questions of. But when I think two people that were involved in my case have been before the public inquiry, and they really had nothing to contribute. They were just let go.
And is your sense that the post office is continuing to make it as difficult as possible for people like you to achieve justice through its engagement with the public inquiry?
Absolutely.
That's a hell of a charge. I mean, why do you say that?
They seem to be absolutely incapable of just saying, we got it really wrong and we're going to put it right. They don't know what they've done. They don't seem to know or care what they've done to hundreds of people.
One of the reasons this scandal has connected with so many people beyond being a monumental miscarriage of justice, the biggest in our nation's history, is that feeling that, as one columnist put it today, that boneheaded bureaucrats just aren't listening to us, that they're just not hearing what we're saying. Is that your sense?
Absolutely. It would appear that government is the same.
Why'd you say that?
I watched the news last night and I watched the Prime Minister's little speech. And whilst I agree, and I'm really, really pleased that they are going to overturn convicted sub-postmasters' convictions, and he's talked a little bit about financial redress and offering £600,000 to each convicted sub-postmaster. But there are lots of us who were not convicted, who've lost a great deal. And he said that he's offered us £75,000. That just doesn't cut it.
What would cut it? What do you need?
I would like to be put back into a position where I would be now in my life if Post Office hadn't have done what they did. I would like that financial stability so that I can enjoy the rest of my life. I've had 15 years of living hand to mouth. And I had a thriving business. And it's all gone.
Based on what?
I'm so sorry.
Oh gosh, you don't need to apologise at all, Sarah. It's I almost feel sorry to ask you about it, but it does help us understand the nature of this appalling miscarriage of justice to hear the tenor of your voice. But based on what you have seen from the government, you would say that that's not enough, and based on the public inquiry, you'd say it's asking the wrong questions.
Yeah, I think I haven't engaged enough with the public inquiry. I try to block it all from my mind just to save my mental health. But from what I've sort of seen in the press and through social media and things like that, there's still no accountability. None.
And do you feel, based on what's happened with the ITV drama, events in Parliament this week, newspaper front pages this week, that finally you are being heard, and that do you have some confidence that actually justice will finally be done?
We are being heard. And I really sincerely hope that justice will now be done.
Well, huge thanks to Sarah Burgess-Boyde, former sub-post mistress from Newcastle upon Tyne, who spoke to us there. Let's now turn to Lord Arbuthnot, member of the Horizon Compensation Advisory Board, former Conservative MP who's campaigned on this issue for many years and is depicted in the ITV drama. Lord Arbuthnot, good morning.
Good morning.
You heard Sarah's harrowing
Yes.
testimony there, really, of her experience through this whole scandal. She does not have faith in this public inquiry. Do you?
Yes, I do. I think that Jason Beer, that KC that we heard at the beginning, is asking really powerful questions. And the sub-postmasters also have people representing them who are also asking really powerful questions of these investigators at the moment, who lied on an almost daily basis, who were incentivized to get convictions rather than to get justice. And there are shocking stories coming out. But I have faith in Sir Win Williams. He's been doing a really good job in running this public inquiry. And I think most sub-postmasters who've really been involved in it also have faith in him. And I also have faith in the minister, Kevin Hollinrake, because before he became a minister, he was one of the people who was campaigning most strongly on behalf of the sub-postmasters. So I think we're getting to the right solution, but it's taking far too long.
You mentioned that the investigators were incentivised to get prosecutions. Let me just put some flesh on the bones of that. This is, just hear this clip if you would, Lord Arbuthnot. This is Gary Thomas, a former investigator for the Post Office. He gave evidence to the inquiry in December 2023, so last month, and he admitted that his team was rewarded for successful prosecutions and the recovery of money.
There was bonus objectives. I don't know if they were individual, team-based, but there was some kind of bonus-worthy, dependent, as far as I can recall, on percentage amounts recovered for the business.
Based on what you've seen of the Post Office's performance at this inquiry, Lord Arbuthnot, is your sense that they've learnt anything from this experience, that the culture there has improved?
Well, I don't have a sense that that culture has improved. I think they are chastened, and I think they are becoming as ashamed as they really should be. But those investigators weren't actually investigating. They were just trying to recover money. And so when people called in the investigators for help because the Horizon system was going so very badly wrong, they got no help. They were just told, where did you take the money? Where have you put it? Give us the money. And the post offices were often closed down. So it was a shocking story.
But
really
does what Jason Beer Casey says about disclosures echo what you've seen from this whole scandal?
Oh, yes. But he was putting it in a very measured and mild way. The failures of disclosure, the post office essentially keeping secret documents and emails that they should have disclosed to the sub-postmasters when they were being prosecuted, let alone to the public inquiry. Those failures, they've been legion over the last year, but they've been going on for years.
Lord Arbuthnot, thank you very much indeed for joining us.